Hi, I am Joseph Moranti, and my group.
Where ingenuity is prized and folks are rewarded for their hard work. That's why I fought so hard to pass a jobs bill to cut taxes and make more loans available for entrepreneurs. It eliminated the capital gains taxes for key investments in small businesses. It increased the deduction to defray the costs of starting a company. And it's freeing up credit for folks who need it. In fact, in just the first 2 weeks since I signed the bill, thousands of business owners have been able to get new loans through the SBA.
As you know, reflects this pattern. Do you believe that there is a steady recovery occurring now?
There's a very slow but steady recovery taking place right now, and I think it's because of the uncertainty that is causing the fact that it is so slow. And the uncertainty revolves around many things. Number one, corporations need to wait to see what their tax rate is going to be. All the discussions now of the fiscal cliff. We don't know what our tax rate, individuals don't even know what their tax rate is going to be. Corporations don't know what their tax rate is going to be. And with that kind of uncertainty looming over their heads, it is very difficult to plan how many new employees or what expansion they're going to be looking to do, because they're not going to know what kind of monies are going to be available to do so. As we move forward, once we get past this, I'd say this January into February, then corporations will have a better idea once Congress decides upon our economic policies facing this quote-unquote economic cliff and what it's going to mean. Then we're going to be able to see people figuring out what their household taxes are going to be. Corporations will have a better understanding what their corporate taxes are going to be, and at the end of the day they'll know what their bottom line is going to be and how much money is left over that they can then use to reinvest.
View says that this is due to people dropping out of the workforce. So, what is your view on this stance?
Conservative or liberal, I'm going to put aside, and I'm just going to speak from my own observations and personal experience. There are a lot of qualified people right now that are unemployed, that are not getting hired. That's what I see all around me. I happen to be speaking from one of the richest states in the United States. New Jersey is one of the richest states in America. And being that we're one of the richest states, we shouldn't have a problem with jobs. But almost everyone I know is struggling. In my own family, I see people around me getting fired left and right. Very qualified individuals, and they did nothing wrong. It's simply due to the economy. So conservative, liberal, I'm going to put those words aside, and I'm just going to say from my own personal experience, and my students too, and their parents, they're having great difficulty finding and keeping jobs. It's not because of big companies, it's because of the economy.
And it seems to have really spiked.
That's right. We're now somewhere over 6 million people, which is a remarkably high number because the previous record actually was somewhere below 3 million people. So we've more than doubled the old record in long-term unemployed.
We can go into some of these in more detail. You've given us a stat that looks at the share of long-term unemployment by age. This compares the overall labor force, and you can see it on the screen right there, Dr. Halswell, the long-term unemployed compared to the labor force. And it looks as though the years 25 to 54 have the highest numbers. But help us understand what we're looking at here.
Sure. The blue bars tell you the share of the labor force held by these three different age groups. So, for example, the 16 to 24-year-olds, they make up about 14.2% of the labor force. The 25 to 54 is 65.9% of the labor force, and then the 55 years and older is almost 20% of the labor force. The red bars then tell you their share in the long-term unemployed. So, for example, you'll see that the 16 to 24-year-olds, they are about 14% of the labor force, but they're about 17.5% of the long-term unemployed. So the young are overrepresented in the long-term unemployed.
And for people 55 years and older, their percentage is equal to their share of the workforce.
Right. They're about the same. They're not overrepresented in that.